This is live stream for Tuesday, May 2nd, 2023. Impromptu, of course, unscheduled. And what we're going to look at is some video some graphics cards. This one particularly has got a TV tuner in it, along with some other stuff. And we're going to put it in an OptiPlex GX110. Now, I had originally wanted to do it in the compact Evo that I have, but with it being such a small form factor, this longer card wouldn't fit. So I thought, well, let's look at putting it in the GX110. But in order to do that, a couple of things that we need to do first. Need to upgrade its BIOS from A05 to A09, which is the latest one available, to see if, and these older Dell Optiplexes, you could never disable onboard graphics for any expansion card you would put in, especially, and these systems which only came with PCI slots. So it's plugged in, it's running some tests on its memory right now, and I'm in the process of making its disk media, which just finished. So we'll slap it in here, upgrade the BIOS in it, then we'll take the cover off and we'll attempt to install this graphics card slash TV tuner card inside. Let me press escape here. Just want to double check and see how much memory is installed. So thankfully did keep the time. 256 meg SD RAM. That's more than enough, I guess. So we'll restart it. And thankfully, it can read can read the disk, no problem at all. Well, let's hope the power doesn't go out. Wow, that was quick. We're going to go back into system setup and just look to see if there's any changes. Okay, so this is the item we were looking for, primary video controller. And the only options are auto and onboard, which means that ought to be good. If we put this in, it should change to it. Great. Let's power off. We'll take the cover off. One of the things they do have to do while we're waiting is need to make some OS media, because I don't really have any version of Windows disks, right off that we can use right now. So we're going to have to, just take a little bit of time. And burn something. Alright, so never really was a fan of these covers, but here we are. Kind of like a hinge. It is a little bit dusty. And we have inside, we have a 2.05 gig AT Quantum Fireball. We have 256 meg synchronous RAM. 1 gigahertz Pentium 3 socket, not a slot. And then what we're going to end up installing that graphics card in is this 3-slot PCI riser. So we'll go ahead and do that right now. Let me just adjust the camera view for you. It's not really good, but that's what we got. slot. Now this computer does have a Windows 2000 OEM sticker on the case, so that's the media that I'm going to find. I know, just the place to get OEM Windows 2000 media. But oh, I see what happened. So there's some metal here that's sticking out a little bit further than it needs to. I need to bend that back into place. There we go. Did that. Now the card should fit much, much better, and it does. We'll screw it in. And we'll change the, I have to unplug where the monitor is right now, which is on board. And hopefully that won't be much of a problem. Okay, turn it on. So it looks like it's an STB, 2 megabytes of video RAM installed. That's not really a lot. But like I said, it has the TV tuner card in there. So the computer is going to boot up on Windows 2000. I do not have the passwords or anything for this installation. So, of course, going to have to make our own boot media. Shouldn't take too long. If you want to hang out while I do that, you're more than welcome. And if you don't, go ahead and fast forward however many minutes, or you come back in about 5 or 10 minutes. That's about how long it'll take me to burn and verify the media. Then you might have to run some spin right on this. It usually doesn't take Windows 2000 that long to start. Right, Studio Cat? Oh, I know, right? Yeah? So we're going to burn a Windows 2000 Pro with Service Pack 3 for OEM ISO onto CD, and we'll install it from scratch, and we'll do it. Burn disk image, verify. One thing I am curious about is I'm just going to look online while we're doing this, is I'm going to look at the documentation for the GX110 and just look at the technical specifications for the 110 to see what onboard video provides it. So Pentium 3, clock, 100 to 133 system bus. It has, okay, Intel Dynamic Video Memory with Direct Accelerated Graphics Port, 2D and 3D. Okay. So it may be able to do more. It might be better if we set that TV tuner card as secondary. No problem. We can try that out too. It's about halfway done burning this disc. And I don't know what's wrong with Studio Cat, but boy, he's unhappy tonight. One of them is, anyway. One of them's unhappy. Well, while we're waiting, I just want to go back into the BIOS and we're going to check. I'm going to do a reset because Dell did have a reset button here on the front control panel. And we're going to say the boot set, good. CD, disk, hard drive, great. Yep. Oh. My mistake, I thought it was 2.05, that's 20.5. Sound on, network on, USB emulation. I'm going to turn that on just because we can. What do you think, kitty cat? Hmm? Hmm. What do you think, kitty cat? Waiting, just waiting. Hmm? Just finalizing the disc and it's the verification stage. Well, it says the disk image didn't burn successfully because of an error, but you know what? We're going to see if we can boot off of it anyway. Although now that I'm looking at the disk, there's some cracks in the spindle. So let's find some uncracked media. We'll make another burn attempt while we're trying to boot off of this thing. Of course, with a cracked spindle, you may end up watching your discs disintegrate right in the middle of a machine. Right, Studio Cat? Yeah. Get over here. Well, that answers our question. We're going to burn one more time. But the other thing I'm going to do, just because we can, is I'm going to set the graphics back to, I'm going to go into the BIOS and I'm going to change the graphics, default graphics to onboard, and then I'm going to put in 2 more video cards in this thing. Okay. Integrated devices, primary video controller, onboard. Save changes and exit. Can't see it, but as soon as I plug in here, you know, boy, can I ever get these things plugged in? Okay, so there it is. We don't care. We're just going to turn it off. We're going to pull out the riser, and we're going to install. These are their 2 graphics cards in here. They're nothing special. They're like 2 meg ATI cards from way back when, just to kind of figure out when we get Windows 2000 reinstalled in here, is it going to pick up the onboard plus these 2 expansion cards, or these 2 other video cards, or is it going to give the computer a hard time? Is it going to throw some kind of fit? Especially like, wow, 1994. Other thing we thought about, other thing we thought about doing was, if you remember from videos years ago, from a while back, the onboard video from that PC, or the PC server, really was not that high end. So just to put something a little bit, with a couple megs of video RAM versus, not the 1 meg of slow video that the system had. Alright. There's that one. We've got one more card to put in now. Just does not want to go in here. There we go. Alright, we'll screw it in now. This one's got a later date on it. This one says 6/19/1995. Okay, let's put the riser back in and see if it explodes. Yeah, if I can get the riser in here at all. Might have to take one of these cards back out because it's really pushing down on. Okay. A little bit of pressure there. And this disc finished. Just phone ring. Hopefully don't get called back into work here. Well, hopefully it'll be a fast install. And we'll see what shows up in the device manager. Also going to unplug our hypervisor box, and there's a group of enthusiasts who have come up with a third-party website called Legacy Update that will allow you to install updates for Windows 2000, XP, Server 2003, Vista, and Windows 7. So we'll take a moment to check that out. So let me go ahead and we're going to unplug our hypervisor machine here. F8, I agree. It is going to find the previous version of Windows. Let me zoom in a little bit for you. And we're not going to repair that. I'm a little bit curious why Dell has a 24 meg diagnostic partition here. You can't run diagnostics from BIOS anyway, so. Unfortunately, there is no fast formatting on Windows 2000. Whoops, we've got to slowly wait for it to format and then go through the setup routine. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. Listen to Studio Cat and his ire over how slow this stuff is. Yeah, he's just irate. Just absolutely irate. One thing do have to do while we're waiting is heirloom wind-up clock that I was given a few years ago ran down and stopped just a couple of minutes from 8 o'clock. Could you imagine full formatting multi-terabyte drives at this speed? I mean, I suppose if you wanted to. I mean, NTFS can go very big, but BIOS can only do 2.2 terabytes. And it should start chiming 8 o'clock here pretty quick. There it goes. Just I'm going to be looking through the Dell downloads for this, and it has, so thinking to me like what's the really important drivers that you need for an operating system. Video and sound for me. Like most people might say something else, but that's just me. So for this particular machine that we're waiting for Windows 2000 to format this drive, Dell has the drivers for video and sound for Windows 95, Windows 98, Millennium Edition, it only has video drivers for Windows NT 3.5. It does have the drive, it has, whoops, might make a liar out of me. Let me go back to NT 3.5. Okay, so NT 3.5 does not have audio drivers, but if you go back to NT 4, it does have audio and video drivers. I'm also curious because it Dell lists OS 2, and they do provide drivers for OS 2 for video, just not for sound. They even include some drivers for Red Hat Linux 7. kind of neat. Drivers for DOS, whatnot. But anyway, so we're almost ready. 87%. I know some people probably after going to post in the comments, oh, you hate your viewers, you should really fast forward this. And I'm like, well, that's one of the troubles of doing it live, is you kind of along for the ride. So, what is coming up? We've got a whole bunch of Apple II GS stuff. Want to go back and check out the Apple II GS videos that are in old live streams. We've got some people looking for me to look at some Apple II games. Oregon Trail is a big one coming up soon. Interesting thing is, I've got one of these Logitech Unify optical mice. The computer really doesn't care what's plugged into it, so let's put the cover back on, shall we? Not sure I could fit it on a 20 gig hard disk, but it would be interesting to see. We're gonna install. When it comes to the classic versions of Windows, you only can really have one installed at a time unless you use real clunky third-party partition managers. But you could have a Windows 9X, but then you can have up to 3 different versions of Windows NT on there. So you could have NT4 2000 XP. That might be something to try at a later time. Okay, we're not going to boot from CD. So the other thing we're going to have to burn is going to have to see if I can find the resource CD for this while we're going through the installation process. Um, Of course, what I don't like on the resource CDs is it doesn't tell you what yeah, what systems it supports. And there's one here for 2004. But I really think that might be too new for this, to tell you the truth. June 2001. Yeah. This looks about right. Let's download this real quick and hopefully, well, figures. Oh, hey, if you're ever going to capture anything and upload it to the Internet Archive, would you please do it in ISO instead of bin format? You know, and certainly help people out with that. Yay, there we go. We found somebody who uploaded an ISO image for this. I'm not sure I can take it. What do you think, Studio Cat? Yeah. Good, Studio Cat. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just dropping everything all over the studio. Yes. The CDs just have gone flying all over. Now, we'll see how... not sure exactly what the game plan will be for tomorrow. As soon as the OS is loaded and we can get into the device manager to see exactly what kind of video cards we have, we are going to call it a night. But do want to go back and do that multi-boot system where we get some Windows 9X, we get some NT4, some 2K, and some XP. Be interesting to have that kind of boot menu. So if you're watching live, please go ahead and chat in the comments, like how much space should we give to each OS? Or if you're not watching live, you're watching after the fact, post in the comments, like how much space should we give to each OS? I know for Windows NT it can't be a whole lot. This cat's crazy. Yep. What do you think? What do you think, Studio Cat? Okay. So, the mouse is on. I do have the thumb drive plugged in for this thing. I mean, maybe I am using the wrong mouse. Although I didn't think I was. Well, that's alright. We'll see after the fact. And just going to punch in the product key off the side. No, we're not Pacific time. We are Eastern time. Got a bad feeling about this. I don't think we're going to get mouse control. And that'll put a hamper on things as well. Trying to think, Windows 2000 was released in February of 2000, so here we are at 23-year-old OS. Oh, actually, I know what could be wrong with the mouse is in the BIOS I turned USB emulation on, which what I should do is when this reboots, I should go into BIOS and turn that back off. Always the longest parts. Saving settings and removing temporary files. Unfortunately, can't get Windows 2000 to install on that PC server. There's not enough. There's enough RAM. There's 192 megs of RAM in it, but there's not enough CPU horsepower. It's only a Pentium 100. Awesome. Finish. Gotta go back into the BIOS and oh. USB emulation already is turned off, so that's odd. Okay. Oh, wow. Wowee. So, looks like graphics drivers are already built in. Just don't know about sound yet. And this mouse is still really goofy. Like, I'm still really curious. What's up with the mouse? Why isn't the mouse working? Was there a different Logitech mouse that I had floating around in here? Really don't know. I'm gonna unplug it into a different USB port. No, can't get okay, so it does pick up the Intel built-in. It does detect the two ATIs. It does not detect the sound or that TV tuner card. But that's pretty good. I think what we're probably going to do is we're going to leave it here. We're going to pick up from ground zero in the future, where we're going to start to build this as excuse me, a multi OS, multi-boot machine. So hope to see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.